Hello and welcome. This is Your City in Action here on Salina Media Connection. I'm your host, Todd Pittenger, from the Rockingham Media Group of radio stations. I'm the news director for News Radio 1150 KSAL here in Salina, and the largest radio news network in Kansas, the Kansas News Network. So I know just enough about news to be dangerous. My guest today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite times of the year. It's not here yet, unfortunately. One of my favorite events of the year, and one of my favorite people to work with, Quinn from Salina Arts and Humanities, and more importantly, today from the Smoky Hill River Festival. Kay, thank you.
Todd, we know you're in your fan club,
Yes.
and the only person more famous in your family than you is, of course,
My
your
dog. My dog, Ryder. Hey,
the real news hound.
Yes, the
and
real
I've always
news
called
hound.
you the news hound.
He's
We'll
a
have to
big-
think of a new moniker for Ryder.
Yeah, last year was his first festival. He's a big festival fan also. But let's dive right in. First of all, I'll say, let our audience know, I can't be that specific yet because you don't have all of the acts and everything finalized just yet, so you can't tell us specifically who's coming, but generally, you can tell us how the Smoky Hill River Festival works, right?
It is shaping up. And Todd, we should probably mention the dates.
Yes.
To our audience so people can have it clear in their calendar. That's Thursday through Sunday, June 11th through the 14th. And of course, in our beautiful shaded Oakdale Park right
Yeah.
here in Salina.
I'm old enough to remember the very first one, which actually wasn't the Smoky Hill River Festival, it was a street fair downtown. I'm old enough to remember that. How long have we been doing this now?
And that was in, of course, the bicentennial year, 1976. So
Right.
this will be our 44th official River Festival this June.
So, break it down, the Smoky Hill River Festival. There's really four main things that people like about the River Festival, right? Or four main things you focus on.
Right. We talk about arts, entertainment, kids area, and of course, festival food.
Absolutely. Yes, and entertainment would include what used to be not an official festival event, but now is. The all starts with the Smoky Hill River Festival Jam, the Thursday night, and some people, they get out there right at 4 o'clock when the gates open. So really it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 days of festival fun, right?
Yes, programming. And
Yes.
even though we have, we'll be honest, we bumped up that admission price just
Right.
$5 this year.
Yes.
And hasn't been increased as we were chatting in quite a while.
Right.
So, and now that we're moving to wristbands, which will make it easier and safer for
Right.
people to come and
Yes.
go, that 4-day wristband
Right.
will be $15 in advance, $20 at the gate.
Right.
But if people know they can't come more than one day, they can get the daily wristband right at the gate for $10.
Which is new this year. Previously, you got a button, and the button got you in every day, so you could go as much or as few times as you wanted to. Now you've got the option of paying one price, going the whole time, or getting, say, for instance, a single ticket admission for
Yes,
lack of
it's a
better
daily admission, so that offers more flexibility and
Right.
more affordability, which we're happy about.
Right. So, how are things coming along? I mean, I know I talked to Brad Anderson, your boss. He's the executive director of Salina Arts and Humanities, and I know this isn't something that, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's rolls around, and you start, all right, it's New Year's, we need to start thinking about the Smoky Hill River Festival. It doesn't work that way, does it?
Well, and when we do a good job of taking care of all those we work with, Todd, whether it's volunteers or sponsors, we're actually thinking about the festival in the back of our heads all year long. But it is generally about a 14-month planning process. So we start thinking and about how we'll switch it up before the actual year's festival happens.
Right.
And then we work on it pretty diligently from fall onward.
Now, I know you have a very small staff at Salina Arts and Humanities, and you probably could not do something like this without a small army of volunteers to not just help with the event itself, but to help in the planning. Is that accurate?
Absolutely, 20 to 22 committees. For example, my Arts Ambassadors Committee, which I directly supervise, we provide all the hospitality for the outdoor art shows, is 18 to 20 people. And those are managerial level volunteers, executives who
Right.
volunteer their time, and then we supervise about 150 shift volunteers. There's even more volunteers that are used in the children's area, Ardiopolis, and many of our volunteers, just like our sponsors, have been with us 20 years or more.
Right.
So we hope that that speaks to the good fit of Salina and feeling proud about doing the River Festival.
And you told me that there's a small, and every year probably gets a little smaller, some people have been involved with it since day one. correct?
Absolutely. In
Yes.
fact, we'll shout out Jamie Hall right now. He and his wife Bridget, and probably also his father, were involved for a long time. And it's rumored that Jamie was a teenage pennant or flag bearer in the very first event downtown that we mentioned that did become the River Festival. And he's still around giving us lots of great advice.
All right, you mentioned the 4 things that people like about the River Festival, the 4 things you focus on. Let's specifically talk about the entertainment. And Tell me, I don't know if it's a challenge or if it's something you look forward to. Each year you don't want to, for lack of a better term, you don't want to see the same thing every year. So each year you kind of have to bring in new acts, but there's still some acts that you want to bring back. How do you rotate the entertainment?
We try to make that an organic process. I personally promote the acts that are chosen, but Anna V. Pauscher is our staff member who books the acts.
Right.
She relies on the advice of a strong entertainment committee.
So that being said, if I was not happy with the entertainment last year or the year before, I could step forward and be part of that committee and help decide the entertainment. Is that correct?
Or could offer input. We always have a link to our website or through our Facebook pages where you can offer suggestions, because often when people travel, they'll hear of an act or hear of someone like Dustin Arbuckle, who was a headliner at this past year's festival, was just here at the Paramount a week or two ago and playing. So it's, to go back to the original question, it's generally mostly newer acts. If we people really love some favorites, they might be back for a second or third year, like Joseph Ficelli. In the older days used to come a lot. More recently,
saxophone player.
Acoustic, Eidolon, that one guy came back for more than 1 year. Most recently, we had the blues group from Springfield whose name is Papa Green Shoes. They've been a favorite, but we're well aware.
Stacks of Wax. I love them last year, and they're going to be back doing some things here in the Salina area this year also.
Lost Wax from Kansas City, yes,
yes.
right. So we try to make sure those headliners are new, and some of the multi-stage acts are generally new, but we do have a sprinkling of favorite acts that might be within the children's area or on stage 2, so people can know if they really enjoyed someone 1 year, they'll see him the next year or two again.
Tell me the thought process about the headliner. At one point, the thought process is you try to bring in somebody big with a huge name that I've heard of. I think maybe Bonnie Raitt did it one time. George Clinton was here one time doing some funk things. What's the thought process on the headliner?
Well, our research has actually shown, and before I was on the team, I remember we managed to snag Steep Canyon Rangers without Steve
Martin,
without Steve Martin for a really affordable price before they won one of their Grammys. But actually, when we look at the numbers, when you spend and spend and spend to get a major act, which would be well above $30,000 these days, doesn't necessarily reflect an exponential that attendance. So these days our philosophy is to spread that money out a little bit more to get a lot of high quality acts, some of which are only perform once, but sometimes a pre-headliner might perform 3 to 5 times over 2 or 3 days because those acts, once they hear about the festival or come, they love the experience of performing on more than one stage, because the main stage, as we know, has a very different feeling than that intimate tent feeling of stage 2. And Artist stage is very vibrant, and Bravo stage has its own feeling too.
And what I like about your Bravo stage, you do a lot, you really kind of sort of hyper focus in and zoom in. And people that I know from right here in Salina will perform on that stage.
It's a great place for new performers, probably some who have never performed before in public, or for those to, Cash Hollister's a great idea, great example of a more veteran performer who's linked us to other people that we can rely on to perform. And so I think we're going to see some changes in that whole Bravo area this year, yet to be revealed, so we'll have to see what our news is in April. But as I understand, the entertainment slate is looking very strong.
This is Your City in Action here on Salina Media Connection. I'm your host, Todd Pittenger, with the Rockingham Media Group of radio stations. My guest today, Kay Quinn from Salina Arts and Humanities, specifically the Smoky Hill River Festival. We've talked entertainment. Everybody talks about the festival food. Tell me, I know you have mainstays that come back every year, the corn on a stick, the Indian tacos, that sort of thing. But every year, you always surprise me with something new and cool and funky and something that you know what? If it wasn't the Smoky Hill River Festival, I might not try it, but because I'm at the River Festival, I think I'll give it a try. How do you come up with all of these crazy food combinations?
Well, I was teasing him because the gentleman I date, Carrie Bringer's actually on our food committee, and I said, I remember the time you guys had that chocolate-covered bacon. That was in the newspaper. Oh my gosh, was that really good? I'll tell a story of myself. 2 or 4 years ago, remember the food truck that looks like the Wizard of Oz?
Yes, I loved it.
Russ and Annie's, and No Place Like Home, right? Well, I hadn't seen the food list, but I got to festival and I heard grilled lemonade. I'm like, grilled lemonade? That must be like, I thought it was like a popsicle on the grill, right? It turned out to be they sliced the lemons or limes, grilled them with herbs on the grill, and then they, that focus flavors into the lemonade. It isn't very, so and I like, okay, I'm glad I didn't tell anybody what I thought that was. That was one of those favorites that really sprang out in front. And in recent years, we've had different types of course, we get some fried foods from those southern vendors.
I mean, you get anything that you can deep fat fry basically has been there, hasn't it?
Right, and now the other side of the spectrum is healthy bowls. We've had fruit bowls and Asian bowls, and the vendors are always working within their menus to come up with something new. I wouldn't be surprised knowing the volume of people that we serve at the festival if they don't use our event as a testing grounds. Each food vendor is also required to have a food item, not a drink, at $3 on their menu so that families can bring their snacks in but still find the purchased food affordable.
I'm an old school guy. I love a funnel cake. I can get me a funnel cake there. My wife is a vegetarian. There's some great vegetarian options there. A lot of times when I'm doing a broadcast or a show from there, she's not out there yet, and she'll text me, hey, you headed home yet? And then she'll tell me, well, stop by such and such and grab me a bowl of noodles or whatever.
People come just on property to get their lunch or supper, and we love that. And we take that list in the program, or we can get it online beforehand, and people circle their foods and plan out what they're going to eat for each meal and every day. And when you share, it can still be affordable.
All right, we talked music, we talked food. It is a festival of the arts, though. Tell me about the art at the Smoky Hill River Festival. A huge range you have there. I mean, I love the statue art that they have. Sometimes it's just cool little things that I can put in my backyard.
Yes, and before I forget, I'm going to read a couple deadlines, Todd.
Okay.
Set my glasses on because I promised staff I would, and one of those is related to the art show.
Okay.
Any regional artists who might want to apply, the deadline is February 3rd.
All right. It's coming up.
Right, and just after that, the deadline for food providers is February 27th.
All right.
And then thirdly, we haven't touched on the kids area yet, but to be a game street game provider, which is a way that local groups can make money, is March 9th.
March 9th.
Does that make sense?
Early February to early March, you have various deadlines coming up. I would guess you can find all of those on your website.
Yeah, so they can always give us a call at 785-309-5770.
All right, tell me about the art.
Sure.
It's a huge, and art is just like the food. I could buy something there for maybe $10, or I could buy something for $10,000 there.
People are surprised that art can be so affordable, yet every piece of art that's at the festival is original, Todd. We've been working with our art patron program for some years, and also inviting people younger down into that YP age range, those early marriage or young singles, to experience art and to know that it can be affordable.
Absolutely.
So we have a special party on Thursday night while the festival jam is going on at Main Stage under the tent at Stage 2, and it may change locations this year. We have a fun gathering for those who sign up for that art patron program and artists to meet and mingle. I think a lot of our attachment, just like we may know a food provider or a favorite band, we have favorite artists as well. And even though they may do slightly different work from time to time, people know they can come find those artists and meet the new artists next door. That's part of the excitement of the art show.
Absolutely. All right, finally, tell me about the kids area. You don't forget about the kids. Not only do they have their Artiopolis, they've got their own stage with their own entertainment also, right?
Artie's Stage, yes, that's a hopping stage. If you want to be lively, make your way to Artie's Stage. You'll find yourself singing and dancing and giggling and all sorts of things. Yeah, it is a true...
And tell me about the kids' games, and you mentioned there's ways that nonprofits and organizations here in town can make a little money while they volunteer.
Yes, Creation Crossing is a big white craft tent, and all those things to do are free. So anybody can come and do that, and volunteers are welcome. The Game Street is the part where civic groups like a church group or 4-H club or even a for-profit business that has a charitable cause they'd like to raise money for can sign up to do the games, which is only Friday through Sunday, a festival week. And they get to keep all the revenue. So it's 50-cent pay-to-play games, and we provide ideas on that. So there's a whole row of colorful street fronts that we have built and painted, and the groups are in those having games, and the kids go along from game to game and have a good time and trust their luck.
And the groups, do they have to supply the game, or do you have games for them to just kind of show up and man?
I think they provide the supplies, but when they can talk Susan Eberwine from our staff, she gives a good idea of all the ideas and the cost that's involved, because little prizes are involved. But it is really a great way for groups to get out there and get exposure too. It's like for 3 days worth of free advertising.
All right, before I let you go, let's talk about volunteers. I know you always need a small army of volunteers there doing a wide range of things. Individuals can volunteer, families can volunteer, civic organizations can volunteer. Tell me the wide range of things they do.
Right. They do everything from hospitality for the artists to help the artists unpack, to help our demonstration artists get situated, sometimes parking, which sounds mundane, but it's very important when you try to get lots of vehicles into a park and still have plenty of green space. Some volunteers serve in our hospitality trailer just to field questions and phone calls and to greet those performers as they come onto property. And then some of them work ahead of time in our office to help us get out mailers or public relations contacts. So there's a little bit of something for everyone. And they can call our office or go to signup.com, which is found off the riverfestival.com homepage to sign up. We're always happy to give details on phone or in person.
All right, and again, one more time, that website before
Sure,
I let you go.
riverfestival.com. And our main phone number at Salina Arts and Humanities is 785-309-5770. We're also on Facebook.
Kay Quinn, Salina Arts and Humanities, Smoky Hill River Festival. We've talked all things River Festival. Sometime after April, I want to have you back because we can be more specific then, because early April is when you will make the big announcement of the new foods and the acts and all of that, correct?
Yes, we can delve way into all those great festival details. People can't wait to hear.
Okay, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. This has been Your City in Action here on Salina Media Connection.